Welcome to the second annual Goofy is a Cow debate.
Hey,
you don't get to speak. You got to speak last time, it's my turn.
For realsies, this is the second annual Is Goofy a Cow or a Dog debate, except better. This better get twice the amount of views that the last one did.
You gotta make a very clickbaity thing, Noah.
The clickbaity thumbnail.
The clickbait better be good.
If you put a popular name in a title, it gets traffic like heck.
Just get Goofy in there in presidential
debate. If I put
debate.
Jake Paul in this title, do you know how many views this would get?
Just put Goofy, presidential debate, and Jake Paul. And Alright, okay, so we're gonna have a little more organized debate here, unlike the presidential debate. So, we're both gonna have 3 claims we're gonna make, and we can each counterclaim
the other
claims. But, like, let's say I say, oh, Goofy said he was a cow, and then he says, no, that was fan fiction. Then I can't say, oh, no, but it was this, no.
Yeah,
I just have to leave it at that.
So, but
okay.
You'll get this as we go along.
Then let's just start. Okay, as for my first point, I'm going to go back to Goofy's facial features. Now, we already established the nose and the eyes and the mouth and snot. They're all same compared from Goofy and a cow and a dog. But what I left you off on is his teeth. I thought that was very interesting that a dog's teeth is sharp, but a cow's teeth is straight. But guess what Goofy's teeth is? They are straight, making him a herbivore. So there's no possible way he could be a dog if he's a herbivore, because herbivores and dogs, they're not the same. And also there was the point of him having horns. Now, it's a common misconception that all cows have horns. Now, there's tons of cows out there who don't have horns but yet are male. And there's also the point where there's others, but like they're not gonna show that in a cartoon. Dogs are carnivores. Goofy is a herbivore, and so is a cow. They cannot possibly be the same because that would go against their whole entire nature of a cow. If Goofy had straight teeth, then what would that mean for the ecosystem? For thousands of years, dogs have had sharp teeth. But then, one dog just comes around saying he has straight teeth. So what does that mean? It means he cannot possibly be a dog. He's a herbivore, and for generations and generations, he has always been a herbivore. What do you want?
I'm sorry, I totally meant to ruin your take just now.
So to wrap it up, cows are herbivores. Goofy is a herbivore. And they will forever be the same.
Yep, okay. Okay. So, my sort of counterclaim to what Peyton just said is he talked about, Peyton talked about Goofy's facial features, which is an interesting topic to touch on if you're ruling that he's a cow. Because, I mean, any person that's like 5 years old and up could look at Goofy's face right now and say, oh, that's a dog. Like, seriously, if I had never seen Goofy before, I would seriously look at Goofy's face and be like, and someone asked me like, oh, what animal is this cartoon dog from this TV show? I was like, oh, I think it's a dog. That's probably what I would say. But, so that's an interesting topic to touch on if you're going to say that he's a cow, because he doesn't look anything like one. But okay, so, let's look here. I have something on my phone. When I was trying to write my points for this episode, I literally, for all my points today, you can find, if you Google, is Goofy a dog? These are all you can find all this information if you just Google those words. So, this right here is the first result that comes up. It says, is Goofy a dog? And then it has this little thing taken from a website. Let's read it together. Goofy has always been thought as an anthropomorphic dog or a dog with human features, according to Disney's Mouse Links. However, what the Disney establishment isn't telling you is that Goofy's really a cow, and then it goes on to kind of convince you what Peyton's trying to tell you, that Goofy's a cow. We got here. Oh wait, if you zoom in on the bottom there, what website is that from? lifesharedblahlblahlblah.com. If you notice, like, they are talking about, like, the lore of Goofy when, like, they're trying to convince me that Goofy's a cow and talk about the lore of Goofy when, when this is, their opinion doesn't matter. Their opinion matters as much as mine or Peyton's. If this was coming straight from the mouth of Disney, I would drop my phone right now and just say that Goofy's a cow, I give up. But this is just from some random website's opinion that does not matter.
Okay, interesting for him to say that, because I actually have the perfect counterclaim for that. He says that this guy's opinion matters just as much as our opinions. And that's exactly true. Your opinion doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, it just matters as much as this guy's opinion, because we're both, him, me, this guy, this random guy, are not speaking from Disney themselves. We're speaking from our own perspective. And there's no way of knowing that this guy could have known that if it came from Disney at all.
Hey, are you gonna start or what?
Now, I would like to go back to the subject of Goofy's house. Now, I may not have explained this as good as I did in the last video, but if you look at everyone's houses, everyone's, Mickey's, Chip 'n Dale's, and Donald Duck's. So, all their houses are based on what kind of animal they are. Obviously, Donald Duck, duck, so he lives in a boat. Mickey Mouse, less clear, but he's the main character, so that doesn't really matter. But Chip and Dale, they live in a tree, so it's obvious that their animal species What are you laughing?
Nothing. I was laughing at the noise that you would
compares to what kind of house they has. So obviously you would know that Goofy's house replicates what kind of animal he is. But Goofy's house is not being too clear. It's just a goofy house. Like, there's like stuff going everywhere, and there's nothing to expect. There's like a spaceship coming out of the window. Everything is just complete random. But if you look at his house, Goofy's is the only house in the entire Toontown area to have a farm in it. Garden, to be specific. You got all kind of things growing, and he has the only house that grows stuff. Now, this house does not replicate to a dog. It replicates to a farm animal, a cow.
So, my counterclaim to what Peyton just said, so basically this whole point is that, like, Goofy has a farm or a garden, which is completely different from a farm. Farms have gardens. Garden isn't a farm. Okay, and then also, he said that Goofy is a cow, and so he's a farm animal. That he has a farm, and so he's a farm animal. Blah 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 blah. Well, A, gardens are not farms. B, I've seen dogs on farms too. So that's all I have to say about that. So my second point comes from the lovely website Wikipedia. So this is the Wikipedia page for Goofy. This is a bit of a big paragraph, and I'm going to only read a portion of it because it has a small little detail that I want to touch on. Goofy is a funny animal cartoon character created in 1932 at Walt Disney Productions. Goofy is a tall anthropomorphic dog who wears a turtleneck vest and pants, shoes, and gloves, blah, 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 blah. If you caught in there, says Goofy is a tall anthropomorphic dog who typically wears a turtleneck and vest. Anthropomorphic dog. So, the anthropomorphic dog part is the part I want to touch on. So this is a little bit of a loose piece of evidence that I have, but I feel like there's no good reason or specific reason why Goofy talks and Pluto doesn't. But maybe they made Goofy first, and they're like, let's just make. They're like, oh yeah, this guy talks just like the rest of them. But then they're like, ah man, Mickey is kind of lonely. He has a girlfriend, but he doesn't really have anyone else to live with him. So we need to give him a pet. And enter Pluto. Goofy stands by his name. He's a goofy animal. That's why we're having this debate. Like he's kind of a mystery. His house has like a bunch of random things that don't really have anything that to tell us about what exactly he is. So personally, I have a feeling that they just kind of made Goofy and anthropomorphic just like everybody else, but then kind of just was like, oh, Mickey needs a friend, so we don't really have a lot on that. But just keep in mind that Goofy does kind of stand by his name. He's Goofy. We don't really know a lot about him, and that's kind of on purpose. He's a bunch of random things. He's just Goofy.
Now, Noah did a great job of contradicting what I was going to say. And that was, he got all his information from Wikipedia. But where do you think they got their information? Because, like, when you're making a website about Goofy and saying, oh, wait, what animal is Goofy again? I'll look it up. And he looks up, oh, anthropomorphic dog. It's like, okay, he is what he is, and that's a dog. So I'll just put that on my website. But where do you think they got their information? What I'm trying to do is prove what he actually is through facts, and not through what other people said he was, but through what I say he was. And that is my contradiction.
Why do you keep calling it a contradiction? It's kind of contradiction is harder to say.
Well, it's smarter. Makes me sound more professional.
Is that...
Okay, now to my last point. I would like to look at what Goofy actually is. Now, it's not obvious by now that every single Mickey Mouse character has their name saying what kind of animal it is. Mickey Mouse, he's a mouse. Donald Duck, he's a duck. And I'm sure there's others, but I'm too lazy to pull them out. But Goofy's last name is Goofy Goof. So what does that mean to us? His last name is Goof, so he is a goof. That's not a real animal.
You goof.
Yeah, goof. But through all the facts I had pulled out, I'm not proving he is a cow. I'm proving he is a certain kind of cow, called an American Brahman. Now this cow is a mix between a cow and a goat, making him Goofy. Now, I don't want to be too judgmental, but this is what he actually is. He is not a real basic animal. He was made off of something that was special into something different, making him Goofy. And that's what his last name is. Through his long years, that's what the American Brahman man. He has no horns, and just everything we've talked about points towards this animal. And back to the facial features. What I said about, what he said about, like, hey everyone, he looks like, anyone can see that he looks like a dog. But that's just because we are told he's a dog, so that's what we see. But what if we were told he was this person, he was the American Brahman? Then that's what we would see, and we would not see dog. I was going to go into details about Clarabelle, but you already know all that stuff. Clarabelle is a cow, which makes Goofy a cow, which makes Pluto a dog. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so about what Peyton just said, let me talk about that. So, I just want to remind all of you that I have totally new points that I did not touch on last time. Peyton is basically just restating his points because he has nothing else. We came up with the idea to do this little episode about, what, an hour and a half ago? I came up with 3 new points in less than an hour and a half, and Peyton just restated his points. I just want to point that out. Okay, so my last point, it's a little weird, but I want you to just stick with me on this. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing. This last bit, I get from an article from Yahoo Entertainment. Let's read this out loud together, shall we? It is a question that has been posed by multiple generations of kids, both real and fictional. Is Goofy a dog? On one hand, obviously, Walt Disney's hilarious accident-prone goofball was introduced in 1932 under the name Dippy Dog, appearing alongside species-specific characters like Mickey Mouse and Claire Bacall. Over the decades, though, he has evolved into a character who doesn't display many canine traits. So then Yahoo Entertainment goes on to tell us that they got an interview with the man who plays Goofy, Bill Farmer. He goes on to say this: he is not a dog. Okay, let's see. Well, let's keep reading and see if we can find something else here. He is not a dog, Farmer tells us with absolute authority. Pluto is a dog, but Goofy seems to be in the canine family. In the same way that a wolf is not a dog, but they also are in the canine family. I think Canis goofus is the technical Latin term for what Goofy is. He's just goofy. So, here are some pictures of canines. Here are some pictures of canines. Like, Pluto is a dog, but Goofy seems to be in the canine family, in the same way that a wolf is not a dog, but they are also in the canine family. So, he's in the ballpark of dogs, but he's nowhere near cow territory. Let's make that clear. He is nowhere near cow territory. That's what we know for sure. Peyton is not allowed to counterclaim this because he's out of points, and this is literally from the mouth of the guy who plays Goofy. I win, okay? So, I think we both did really well on our debate, so, good job. Please, no matter who you are, if you've watched it up to this point, please comment below or tell us what you... Stop it.
Link
Just tell us
in the description.
There's no links in the description. So if you agree with either one of us, let us know why and who you agree with and why, or what we did good or what we sucked at.
Just tell us who you think Goofy
Who
is. Dog,
you think won?
Cow. Well, we both went very specific on... Yeah, and definitely say who won.
Okay, so that about wraps it up, I guess?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, bye.